Oh, I didn't even know.
No.
Here, we'll share if you want.
All right. Okay. The time is now 7:01, and I'd like to call the Fraser Recreation Commission Tuesday, June 2023, June 6, 2023, to order at 7:01 p.m. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item number 3, roll call. Commissioner Hunt.
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Present.
Ooh, she had to use present, look at that. Commissioner Rice.
Here.
Commissioner Walker.
Here.
And Commissioner Kelly here. All appointed. Item number 4, approval of the agenda for June 6, 2023.
I approve the agenda for June 6, 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Rice. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Item number 5, approval of the minutes from April 4th, 2023.
I'll approve the minutes from the regular meeting of April 4th, 2023.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Hunt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're chugging right along. Item number 6, volunteer group reports.
I can give a quick one.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other group reports. So about 2 months ago, a group of us started the Fraser Garden Club, and with the main goal being to target the existing flower beds in Fraser, to revamp them and maintain them, and then move to create new flower beds and beautification projects throughout the city. So far, this year, we actually started last fall with Webb's Wedge. That's the little V between Garfield and Utica and Garfield. Putting in, all kinds of spring bulbs, taking all the plants around, removing them, and I think it looks really good.
Yes.
The downtown Fraser CVS area, we got together a couple Fridays ago, pulled out everything, reworked it, put in some mulch, and it's coming along nicely. We got together at the Sensory Gardens at McKinley and did a spring cleanup on May 22nd. We helped the Baumgartner House with their spring cleanups on April 29th and May 6th. The City Hall Memorial and VFW Post, those have been worked on. They're always being worked on, and mostly by Pam Pitts, and she didn't want to be mentioned, but it falls into the garden club, but really she's the support behind that. And then we created a flower bed in front of the post office. So if you passed it, there's little things coming up, and with the goal to have them be coming up as high as the windows so that the workers can see it. I just talked to them over there today, and they said a lot of people are commenting, and they're really pleased with what's going on over there. We've discussed some new projects, and I won't get into those, but I did talk to, I don't know if I should just stop here. I'll just stop here. If anyone's interested in joining, they can send a request to the Fraser Garden Club Facebook page. We currently have 19 members, and there's an email at frasergardenclub@gmail.com, and we plan to have some face-to-face meetings in the winter months. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Laura Lestage on behalf of the Fraser First Booster Club. Just a quick update, we have our next meeting on June 21st at 6 o'clock at Ramshorn. And we have tentatively scheduled the July meeting on July 19th at 6 o'clock at Tim Hortons. And at this point, we are preparing for the Fraser Parade, as well as our raffle items that we'll be doing for that event.
Awesome, thank you. I'm just going to repeat it so it's actually on microphone. Next meeting for Fraser First Booster Club, June 21st at Ramshorn, and July 19th, 6 PM at Tim Hortons. All right. Moving on. Item number 7, report on current event. 7A, discussion of ideas for events. I'm turning that over to you, sir.
So for current events, the next event is the Jazz Fest in the park. Little Donut Factory will be there. I confirmed with her again today. She stated she'll be there.
Awesome.
Then the parade is going as planned. Glad I had the time to actually plan it. I so far have 13 for sure's confirmed for the parade, and then another 26 maybes so far as people to be in a parade. Well, not all 26 were maybes. Some were, they'll look into it. They're definitely interested and stuff like that. But there's only the 13 confirms that I'll definitely be there. And then those are the only 2 things that's coming up right now.
Do we have a deadline for people to put their application in for the parade?
July 14th.
July 14th.
Is the deadline dates.
I might have 2 groups interested, so I wanted to give them a deadline for it. So.
I can send you all the documents and everything.
Awesome.
The form to fill out, and then you can just send it to them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
This is a different subject, but all the sports guys are ready to go. Is there a better way we could advertise the programs or whatever we have to do to get it going? What will we need to do?
For the parade?
No, this is different for the
Different
sports.
topic. It's an idea for
Yeah.
events.
They're all ready to go. Last time we did it with only 2 kids, because only like 3 people saw it.
Right now, as far as athletics goes, I had people come out yesterday or earlier today and give a detailed breakdown of everything that needs to be done to repair both baseball fields.
Okay.
I got that today, about a couple hours ago, so I'll get it to Elaine tomorrow
Okay.
morning.
Okay.
So she can review it, and then we can present it in the next city council meeting.
Okay. And how will we advertise these programs?
Right now,
There's flyers I could send all you guys and everything.
Right
so.
now, advertisement is online. Currently, the advertisement is online, and there's a TV station.
Okay.
And also, Elaine is looking into getting to someone to get the website more interactive, to where people can actually fill things out online
Okay.
and stuff like that, instead of just having to come in and get the forms.
Okay.
So she is bringing someone in, hopefully, to get the website up and going to make it more user-friendly.
Okay. Sounds good.
You just have to find a way to get more traffic online.
Yeah, because like
for-
Facebook, everyone's on Facebook.
Right.
So
And the other thing we could have used was the schools, but schools.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is there any way we could send it to like people's houses or through the mail? Maybe. Or is it?
Just paying for postage.
Okay.
I guess, I don't know their budget, I just know from what.
If if they pay for it, could we do that?
That's up to that man right there.
Like pay for it to get it sent to people's houses in the mail? Like the group will pay for it, not Fraser.
Like newsletters?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, that's something you could do.
Okay.
If the group is paying for it, then it wouldn't be me, it would be you and the group.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I just.
Could you put it like in the whatever CNG newspaper that
Yeah.
have like advertisements in it? I mean, I don't know if they'll get overseen or whatever, but at least they'll get in people's hands.
Yeah. Okay.
Good questions, good questions.
Right now, there are, I have had interest from, I've been working on a baseball diamond, because I've had interest in 2020, next year, summer, for 4 minor or 4 little league teams.
Nice.
One of them will be home-based in Fraser, and they'll be playing in Fraser and Roseville and around. It's more of a
Like a travel.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, travel.
I like
team,
that. I like that.
But it'll be home based in Fraser.
Okay, that's good.
Utilizing the baseball diamonds here.
Because most of the parents, like I said before, they want it in Fraser. They don't want to go to Mount Clemens, East Point. They want it here. So
Your numbers that you got for the baseball field, does that include also the big giant bright lights that are half working?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was the lights, the gates, the benches,
I just,
the concession stands, the plates, everything. So,
awesome.
The dirt.
Probably does need to be touched up in there, I don't think. All right, any other questions?
I have just questions about that. I don't know if it should be under questions with concern or comments or my concerns or what, but what I would like to see you do for us is come back next month with a calendar of the next 6 months of plans that you see happening in the 6 months. And we gave you a list of ideas of what we wanted. One every month, maybe 2 sometimes. So I'd like to see you put this in a calendar and give it back to us so that we can start helping you or start looking in the future instead of a month ahead of time or 2 months ahead of time. I'd like to look 6 months ahead of time or 5 months ahead of time.
That's definitely understandable. For now, I've been working on the bigger events in Fraser, so I can get those under my belt, and then I'll be implementing smaller programs in between those as time goes, while at the same time doing things to get the youth sports back here in Fraser. So right now it's just the youth sports for next year and the bigger events in Fraser, and then next year I'll be adding events one at a time, and once I get all the programs down that you guys normally have annually.
To piggyback on her, I agree that we should have some kind of calendar soon, but I want you, it's just my opinion, I would really like you to focus on the parade and the bigger events for the moment, because we really want to get that back. I think that everybody really wants to get the parade and, you know, the whole, we've been without it for so long that we're like kind of hungry for it, you know? So,
I would like a listing of the normal bigger events that you
Yeah.
guys have, because I have, I don't know that.
I know you're probably trying to
normally just been
piecemeal
going off of
everything
what
together.
people tell me are the bigger events and what I should be doing next. But lately, it's been getting kind of construed as things that normally happen.
Right. I'm sure it's all piecemealed and there's not much access to all the stuff that we did in the past, so. 7B, the parade and fireworks. I know you kind of gave us a little update. Any updates on the fireworks?
I just signed the firework contract today and sent it back today. So
Cool.
they'll be signing their end of it and then getting us a copy of it. The budget was up to 15,000 instead of 10,000 from last year. So there will be more,
Cool.
but the contracts have already been signed.
So I have another question about the parade too. I know 2 months ago, we talked about setting up something for volunteers to help at the parade. Do you have any insight of how you're going to set up this to get volunteers to help you?
Right now, I've been doing, as far as just the planning and the logistics of the parade. As far as volunteers go, I did look into some stuff that was previously here. I've been doing parade setup as far as how things will go from the school, and I've intricately played. I haven't put the notice out for volunteers yet. That'll go out on Tuesday.
Cool.
And where is it going out on? Is it going on the Parks and Recs page?
Parks and Recs page, the TV channel, and social media.
Are we going to have people sign up like on a Sign Up Genius or just contact you or?
Just right now, it's just to contact me.
Okay.
The WordPress isn't available anymore, so I can't use that anymore.
Okay.
And the website doesn't let you do anything online, so it's just right now to contact me.
We're going way old school, aren't we? Gonna force people to talk to us.
People people here are talkative. So.
We are, yes. Any other questions, guys? Okay. Item number 8, overview of Parks and Recreation.
That was everything.
I figured, but
The baseball diamonds are looking to be completed. We got little league teams, adult league teams. That's ready to utilize the diamonds next year. I did speak with Big Bounce. They sent over their contract today. I reviewed it. Everything seems standard except the garbage. They want us to supply them with garbage removal, but when we did that previously, they destroyed it. So I emailed them about that today. Also, the 400 parking spaces that are required for them, there's no parking around the park, so I've been looking into that.
so, in the past, because it's been here two times already, right?
I believe so.
Did we have to have 400 parking spaces for them in the past? Or
I
is
was looking
this,
for a previous contract to see if I saw 400 parking spaces on there. I haven't been able to find it yet, but because I just got it today. I was looking for the previous contract to see if it said that, but I haven't been able to find it yet. I know it's there somewhere. But as far as the parking spaces goes, there just isn't a lot around the parks. So I've been looking at the businesses surrounding the parks to see if they allow parking there for that, since they've experienced it.
do they
That's
want
already-
400 free parking, like free parking spots, or?
Well, it didn't say free.
Okay.
It
So-
just had
so
400
just-
parking spots. So, I did speak with the VFW. They have 85 spots, at least. But she said she's going to get back with me I sent her the dates, and she's going to get back with me closer to the end of the year about the parking spots, because she said they normally have graduation parties there. So
Right.
she's going to get back with me about the dates closer to the end of the year. I spoke with the Smokey Joe's guy over there, and he stated that normally people did park over there. And he said it wasn't a problem for him because it increases the traffic of his business, being a liquor store owner. And then the bowling alley guy said he normally charges people. So
They do for the city, the carnival too. So that's what I was trying to think of, where people park when we have the carnival. So.
yeah, it's kind of been the challenges. I haven't been able to see it with my own eyes as far as everything. So I don't know like what's the norm or how many parking spots can actually fit around the park. Or the goal for me is to keep people like off the residential streets and make it easier for them to park, and make it more homier for the people that's on the residential street, so it's not cars lined up and down their streets.
So you don't know how many parking spots are out, like at Stephanie Park on that side over there, like where the baseball diamonds are, and behind that, where behind the baseball diamonds, where the concession stand is?
Your mic's off.
I do not know, but I did plan to utilize that for them, because they'll need like a bunch of parking spaces just to park their trucks to unload and load everything. So I did look at that as far as how many parking spaces were there, because there is 2 parts to it. But I would need to speak with Big Bounce more to see the amount of space they actually need.
Right.
Okay, any updates on the senior center?
They did enjoy the Tigers game. There's another Tigers game upcoming next month. And they did get a double feature with the Tigers game and Grand Prix by mistake. So as far as they had fun, the bus driver didn't. There are new events that Diane is having next week after bingo. Some informative events. Let me see what she said. She said something about there will be people coming in doing Jeopardy. And with the Jeopardy, they'll also be giving out information to help seniors live better, and to help them with not falling, and in case things like that happen. So they'll be having like informative events and game days there over the next 4 weeks on Wednesdays and Tuesdays.
Awesome. Is there any talk of opening the senior center for longer hours?
Right now, there is not because there's only Diane there right now. So I've been trying to see if we can get someone else over there with her. With that, we may be able to get longer hours, but for now, it's just only being Diane, she will just do the regular hours.
Thank you. Moving on, item number 9, other business. 9A, review of our bylaws.
I have lots of questions about our bylaws. We don't follow anything in our bylaws, as I was reading them over today.
And I'm hoping that if you had a lot of questions, perhaps that you marked your particular set of bylaws up, and I could maybe take a copy of it.
Okay.
Okay. And this is more of, you directed me to bring them back to you, and so I did, for your input, and then I will be giving them to the city manager, so we'll kind of move forward from there.
So, I'm sorry, Amy, do you have any knowledge on what we would have to do if we wanted to update or change anything in our bylaws? Loaded question, isn't it?
It's a loaded question, and I would have to look at them. Typically, the bylaws are created by the commission itself, but obviously endorsed and covered by the city. Trying to see where these were created. Thank you.
Like a few things right off the bat in here is like our primary, it's like, parks should be taken out of it. It should just be recreation now, that's what we are. But I mean, it tells us that our job is to seek grants I never knew we were supposed to seek grants and plan fundraisers. We're supposed to have annual in June voting of a president, vice president, secretary. We only have a president, we have no vice president, and that person can only hold that term for 2 years, and I think that you've been there longer than 2 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of things we don't follow in our bylaws as I was going through them today.
We did do the president, chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. We did vote on those previously, but honestly, since COVID, it's kind of gone to the backside.
And the ordinance would trump the bylaws. So first, for direction on what is to be done, you look first to the ordinance. And then the bylaws are supposed to fall under that in terms of really the day-to-day governance of the commission as a whole. So that it is very broad isn't a bad thing, because just because it says you can do it doesn't mean you have to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Your focus is what you choose to be your focus. But, so if your bylaws say provide support and whatever you said, fundraising and grants, if you don't have time for that, you don't have time for that, right? Like, you're in essence a volunteer commission.
Right.
So that's just my advice more, this is not a city council advice, this is
Yeah, right.
lawyer advice, like, the devil's in the details, but the reality is the application. And first you have to look at the ordinance and what the ordinance says that, because I believe it was, you guys were created by an ordinance, right?
I believe so.
Is my recollection. And that's what created the ability to have a Parks and Rec Commission. And so the ordinance itself is created by city council, so that would give the direction. And it is important, it's a great point, because it's recreation. We all call it Parks and Recreation. In our mind, it's the fun of, but, so that you're not responsible for grass cutting and,
Or cleanup.
maintenance of the parks, park cleanup. But that being said, it doesn't mean you can't do it, because it's part of the community development, and the garden club is amazing, so don't stop that. So that's my legal advice. But obviously, anything that you want to be done can be.
So I assume in theory, we could kind of make some notations on it, and would we have to present it to council?
Well, to me, the path of least resistance, which is present the version you guys can agree on that is what it should look like, present it through Cindy to Elaine, and then logistically come to us if it needs to.
Okay.
My guess is first go to Don, because he's sort of our procedure guy. And then, as long as it's consistent with the ordinance and doesn't violate the spirit and intent, right? i.e. keeping it such that it's collaborative and cooperative and citizen participation, and, you know, everything that is what you guys are doing. I don't see why it wouldn't get adopted.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It just needs some updating, I think.
Yeah, I looked at that too, and I was like, oh, there's some of the stuff that we might need to update just a little.
It appears like this may have been done a little while ago. I mean, I've been.
I don't think that I don't think it's been updated like since its inception.
I was gonna say, looking at the font, I think this is like pre-Times New Roman.
That's what I was reading yesterday. I'm like, what was this? When was this made? Because I remember looking at it years ago, and I'm like, oh, it should be updated, and then we just kind of put it to the side, just.
I think these are one of those documents that you almost have to devote like a special meeting or an entire meeting to. Everybody has reviewed them before. You come and you take section by section, you go over them, kind of come to a consensus. Let me know, then I can do, put the lines through and add the wording to bring it back, make sure you guys are okay with that, and then I'm gonna give it to the city manager. And then, as Councilmember Bransky said, it would move forward from there to Don and most likely city council.
Right. The other way is a subcommittee.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
'Cause that's what we're doing with Goodfellows, right? So the subcommittee's looking at it and gonna bring it back for everyone to participate. Because it would take forever for all 5 of you to line by line. But then if everyone shoots an email, that seems to be the most efficient. Because yeah, looking at these, I'm like, ooh, they're really big too. Like, this is really exhaustive, yeah.
Yep.
I see your notations.
Sounds like someone that wants to chair the
I know.
subcommittee.
That's what I was saying. How you feel about doing a subcommittee? I also have thoughts on it too. I'm so prepared that I brought it and left it on the counter at home, so.
I was just, like I said, I was just going through it and saying, we don't follow anything, starting with number 1 on here, starting with Parks and Recs, commission bylaws. We're not a Parks and Recs commission anymore, so, and then going down to section 1, section 3, section 4, all the way to, the officers and duties and stuff like that. So there's a lot that needs to be, I just kind of glanced at it after work today because it's been kind of crazy.
I think Councilmember Stransky's suggestion is probably a really good one. Maybe appoint a subcommittee. I would be happy to meet with you. I'm sure you would like Martez to meet with you as well. We could set up a date toward later in the day, maybe when you're done with work.
As soon as school's out.
I know, I was gonna say.
More days.
We got just a little bit more time.
And it doesn't have to be done at any,
Right.
it's a working, breathing document. And as long as you're in compliance with the ordinance
Right.
and
So where do we get the ordinance from?
It's
Yeah, you
city
can go
Okay.
to
Okay.
municode.com and go to the library, Fraser's in there, and just if you put in the search Recreation Commission, it'll bring it up.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask 2 things. Do we want to table this for the next time so we can have a chance to look at the ordinance and everyone maybe kind of make notes? Or do we want to just, sorry, it's my son's medicine time, I apologize. Or do we want to go ahead and say do a subcommittee? Because, I'm okay with kind of tabling it that way. We can all kind of look at the ordinance and kind of.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Say again, where did you find the ordinance?
It's going to be like that Municode,
Go
yeah.
to- It's municode.com,
Okay.
and then it will just say library, and you'll click on, there's a map of the United States, you'll click on Michigan. It will bring up all the cities and townships in Michigan, and just click on Fraser,
All right.
and then put in Recreation Commission, and it should take you to it.
Okay. So, table this maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
That'd be good.
All right.
Give us some time to really look at it. 'cause
Yeah.
like I said, I just was skimming over it like I got home from work at 5 and I'm like, ooh, I gotta look at this. So I was skimming over. I'm like, ooh, nope.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to review the bylaws, put that on the next agenda in July instead of, I don't know, I don't even know how to make this motion.
Just to table this until next month, I guess.
I'll make-
Everybody come back with some ideas or concerns.
All right, I'll make a motion to review the bylaws in July so we can all come back and have ideas.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Kelly to table the review of bylaws until July, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, here's the big one. Item number 10, citizen participation. Come on up. It's like the most citizens we've had in a while. Me too, Miss Nancy.
My name is Nancy Erkey. I'm with the Fraser Historical Commission and the Friends of the Fraser Library and various other things. But anyhow, I took a walk over, I live over by Mulvey, so I took a walk over to Blanky Park on Mulvey there. And the area where the sign is needs help,
Okay.
a lot of it. I've got a photo of it on my phone if you want to see what it looks like, what I'm talking about.
Is this where they took down the old sign and put up their new sign?
Yeah, can I
Okay.
bring this up to you?
Sure.
So it's like a garden club, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now that she said that.
Yeah.
Because
That's-
there's stones from the circle, and that's all just weeds growing
Right.
amongst the rocks, which
Okay.
needs to be all taken out and put.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
See how it needs help.
Yeah, well, just a little, right?
Yep.
I know.
It's pretty bad. So that's the easy one. This is
Yeah,
the easy one, 'cause you can't plant in the rocks, right?
Right. Get a bunch of vinegar.
Yep.
And I just pour all the.
So, I don't know if you, like I say, if, now that I hear about the garden club, that might be something for you to do there. I would be glad to help, but I can't do it myself. And the problem is, I live nearby, but you can't bring your car there.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
always
another
my
problem.
citizen
You have to
concern.
haul
There's
your
no parking.
stuff,
There's
you
no
know?
parking over there.
Park in the church, probably,
And walk a quarter mile, well, eighth of a mile.
yeah. Or maybe in the,
Condos,
yeah,
yeah,
they might frown on that.
yeah.
Sometimes they
Yeah.
frown at me when I walk through it. I don't even park there. So, anyhow, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Other than that,
Well, thank you.
I
Awesome.
wonder if that's, because that's a major job.
well, it's the,
Well, if it was me, if it was my
Takes a lot
yard, I would take a lot of vinegar and put it in my watering can and vinegar at all those rocks, because it'll kill all those
We'll
weeds.
kill everything in there.
But I just wonder, if because it's a major job, if the DPW shouldn't get involved in on that one.
well, that's what I'm thinking.
Are they not
because
answering?
there's all those
The
stones
parks.
amongst all this weeds growing. And really, you should take the stones all out and then spray or whatever the,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and then maybe put a,
Weed barrier down.
yeah,
Rocks
something like that, so they don't keep coming back. Because I've lived here almost 20 years, and it doesn't seem to change any, other than weeds grow in there.
I think the garden club could help clean it up, but I think the park people have to do something else to that area.
I've got that in my notes.
Okay.
I'm happy to share.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Perfect.
okay, that's,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Maybe we can add parking in on that area.
I know that's one of,
Add some parking spaces on that.
I know that's one of our wish list items.
Yes.
I can try to help complete this one design, I don't know.
Hello, citizen.
what'd you say, I'm not?
She's back.
Laura Lessig, 15201 Fairview. I wanted to caution you all in your bylaws discussion, as you go through each item, it may not be the responsibility of the commission, but it should be somebody's responsibility. And I think in the past, I mean, yeah, this thing was written many, many years ago. The actual Parks and Rec director handled majority of that stuff, like the grants. So when you talk about the grants, then it needs to be coordinated with our rec coordinator, that's going to be their responsibility and the city's responsibility to do the grants. So just keep in mind, everything that you're putting in there, that's, like, for example, the fixing the park thing, that would have been something that we would have done in the past as a recreation commission to clean, like park cleanup and everything. But I agree, it should be DPW do a majority of the heavy lifting in that area. I know in Harrington Park, their neighborhood volunteers came and cleaned that one up, but it didn't have the broken up rock and everything like Blanky does. And the other thing I wanted to mention is for the Lions Fair, is the recreation department going to have any activities throughout that weekend sponsored for things to do recreation-wise? You know, you're going to have games for the kids, you're going to have, I don't know, coloring
Craft or
contests,
something.
crafts, whatever, especially on that Sunday when you have all those people waiting for the fireworks. They can have some activities going on. So I don't know if anyone discussed what else is happening besides that.
It would be great to use maybe a Boy Scout troop or a Girl Scout troop to come and help us do something, because they're the ones that said, hey, they need to get more involved and there needs to be things for kids to do. I agree with that.
I can talk to the Boy Scouts. They are always looking, well, I gotta make sure they're not camping that week, double check. But I'll talk to them, I'll see them Monday.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
So Martez, to touch up on what she was saying previously, always see here comes always in the past. For activities, we sometimes would set up, we had like a whole tent. So on Sunday in the park, in Steffens Park, people come in all day, right after the parade, and they're like setting up their blankets. They're already saving their spots at like noon for the fireworks. So on that Sunday, we would have a big tent. Sometimes we would have those, you know, like the Yardsy or whatever the big yard games that we have. We'd had them out. We've even sold like waters on hot days and like Gatorade. So not to add something on your plate, but I would be willing to volunteer on that day anyways, because I'm going to be there. But if that was something that you'd want to do, I'm sure that people would be willing to help out and give you some traffic.
I did spend most of today going through like all of our rec things to take inventory, to know what I have and to know everything that we have. I did find a lot of arts and craft things, games and stuff like that. I'm going to continue to do that tomorrow to see everything else, to finish going through everything at the senior center, because that's where most of
There's so
everything
much.
is.
There's so much there.
It was a lot there. So I'm going to finish going through that and going through inventory. And also been trying to locate keys to the sheds where there's all the giant Jengas and giant soccer balls and other
Should be a
cornhole
giant
games
connect
and stuff
board.
like that.
Yeah.
So I can, once I complete the inventory, I can definitely, I know it'll be some things that we can add out there
Yeah.
to you guys' tent to make it more fun.
Yeah, it's, because it would be, that's what, I feel like even the kids, while they were waiting, they're done with rides, they want to take a break from rides, so let's go play by this tent over here, so. Just keep in mind. So. All right, any other citizens would like to come up? See, look, he's leaving his dad.
I want to introduce myself. I am the president of Fraser Wrestling Club. I'm also the head coach and the assistant coach at the high school. We've been around for 4 years, and we thought it might be a good idea to. I just want to introduce ourselves. So I represent 50 kids in the Fraser community. Over the years, my oldest graduated from Fraser High School in 2017. And over that time, I've watched a lot of Fraser kids go to other schools and other sporting teams because we didn't have anything here. We're well established. We have a great partnership, a great relationship with Fraser Public Schools. We actually feed right into the high school. So all my kids that participate with me go right to Fraser High School. Not only do we wrestle right here in Fraser, but we wrestle all across the state. We have all ages, kindergarten through 8th grade is our biggest group. And then when the high school gets off season, they come right over to us. We travel around the state. Some go to Ohio. But I thought it'd be a good idea. I was trying to work with Sarah. I don't think Sarah's no longer here, or Hunter, for the last 4 years. I've made several attempts to try to get some type of relationship with Parks and Recs. If you go to your guys' webpage, you have Fraser Soccer, and I believe that's it. So I also represent football for youth. I'm the youth football coach for down the road. So we have a ton of Fraser kids on that as well. So I just wanted to come out today and say hi. We exist. We're looking to have a friendship with all you guys if we can, and somehow get where our community knows that we exist on your social media, for example. So I don't know who I would partner up with you.
Can I get your name, sir?
Yeah, Kyle Tucker.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. So, and most of my coaches are alumni from Fraser. We bring in a lot of the high school kids to work with our youth. I got my son behind me. One of my great youth coaches is actually a sophomore. He'll be around for a couple more years. So we're trying to bring that interaction to have great positive role models, including we get sponsors from local cities, from our people in our local city, and then we also support the local businesses. Try to give them anything we can give them as far as sports gear or anything we can print shop from like America's Finest, anybody we can partner with. So
Awesome.
That's why I wanted to come see you guys today.
Nice to meet you.
See what I can do to move forward. I'm always available and see what we can represent with you guys.
Well, I have a question. So
Yeah,
would
Any
you,
questions or concerns, I'm more than happy.
would we be able to like partner up and do something like on the off seasons here with Parks and Rec and have some of those coaches or the older high school kids work with Parks and Rec and do some
we-
conditioning with Parks and Rec for wrestling?
We would love to. Unfortunately, we're the only community, the only high school in Macomb and Oakland County that does not have a designated wrestling environment. So to bring a safe and healthy wrestling environment, we're the only school without a wrestling room. So if you guys have noticed, the Bond has now got on there a multi-purpose athletic room, I believe they called it. So we now have a place to train. We're the only school that rolls out mats. And unfortunately, you don't see that anymore. That's probably 1980, 1990. Roll out the mats in the cafeteria, kids fall, all that kind of stuff. So we are looking, my first guess was like the senior center that is now, there's no youth sports at that location. We are looking for stuff like that. We actually have a camp coming up in this, very soon in October. We're partnering up actually with the Marines, so they're gonna be coming in and running a camp for us. So anything we can showcase Fraser for, that's what we're doing. We ran one of the best camps, I don't know if you remember, not camps, best tournament in the state. So it was really recognized Fraser, putting Fraser High School on the board. So my kids do very well representing all of us.
Awesome.
That's all I really had. And I'll be more than happy to stick around if anybody has any other questions.
I can definitely speak with you after the event.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest challenges with youth sports is there's no youth center. Wherever I've worked, there's always been a Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, or youth recreation centers in those towns or cities. So Fraser not having that and having one that only seniors can participate in is one of the biggest challenges I've faced since I've been here as far as getting youth
scattered
stores.
everywhere. And when I say I represent wrestling and football, I've been coaching football for a long, since probably 2012, including wrestling. Our Fraser kids are everywhere. They just want to come home. They have a place, they want to have a place here. And if we could have it, we have people that want to run football camp or football teams. We had the NFL team, the flag. I don't think that participated. We lost all of our kids to the DLSL feeder program for their NFL flag for the football team. So the kids want to be here. If we can work anything out with anyone on youth sports, the kids are here, the parents are here, the coaches are here. We just need that partnership to make it just that start. And we're ready to take off. I kind of did it on my own for the wrestling. We noticed that we were losing kids to other schools, and I said, we got to pull them back, and how do we do it? So we partnered up with Fraser High School, and we were able to get our team well established. And we're doing pretty good. We'll be year 5 this coming season.
Awesome.
So I'll be more than happy to stick around. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Thank you. Okay,
I have questions.
okay.
The timing is fortuitous, since we have a meeting on Thursday, and one of the added agenda items is gonna be capital improvements. So you talked, I haven't watched your meetings admittedly, but you talked about some sports programs. Is that sort of the similar type thing where people want to?
Yeah,
come
pretty much.
And all they really want is to sort of utilize the assets of the city, but provide the structure, the funding, the staff, is that?
Yes.
Okay. So along those lines, that the baseball diamonds, the commitments are for the next year.
Yes.
Is there any, and it not, because again, this is, you're in charge of the department, and is there any interest or any of these groups that are looking for the fall? I'm trying to figure out timing for capital improvements, because unfortunately, there's just not enough money to do everything.
Right.
But some things need to get done because they're safety issues first, and then, you know, what comes. Is there any interest or plan for fall things, like I know adult kickball leagues or any of that, would justify speeding up rehabbing the baseball diamonds?
There has been adult kickball league and adult baseball that I did mention. They did want to utilize the field, this summer. I didn't charge them anything for it because the way the field is. So they just right now it's people who utilize the diamond just right now the way as is.
Got it. And any of the programs, Mr. Rice, that you referenced, would those be any of the fall?
Yes.
Need?
Well, I had one guy come in here, LK Soccer. He was trying to look for a couple fields, but he turned out to go to Mount Clemens.
Oh, I see.
And that's why I was saying no one wants to go to Mount Clemens or all these other places.
Right. So I'm just trying to get, like, you know what I mean? Because part of the issue is we have to get on the same page and then create a vision, and then there has to be need. And
Yeah.
and the type of resource that Mr. What was your last name? Tucker, thank you. Reference is the perfect fit, right? Because he's going to bring it in and network, so if we can get the resources where they need to be. But unfortunately, the one thing we do not have is a indoor building with a roof and heat and water for kids to play in. And that is huge.
Well, did we figure out about Arts Academy? I know Sarah talked about that a little bit, getting a grant to fix the gym floor at Arts Academy.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
We
I know it's
talked,
owned by Lance Cruz Public Schools.
Well, she talked to the head person or something the last time I
We
talked to her.
fixed the gym, we could.
We could use it, yes.
Except for how much is it? That's,
She said it was like 40,000, a lot. But I was thinking like, I want to set up this fundraiser in October and give a percentage to get this going. Because I have a lot of sponsors in there, but I'll talk about that later.
yeah. But I like the vision.
I feel like we're throwing Sarah under the bus, not
No,
that.
no,
No,
I
no,
know.
but
we're
no,
not.
listen, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I
It's
meant.
making sure that things
No.
don't get lost in the transition.
That's not what I meant.
I know.
Okay, so in December, I went to Mark Twain and I had got all the information from the principal to use their gym. I gave her every information that we were supposed to do. They've been waiting for the call so we could do sports at Mark Twain. But then nothing ever.
Well, then it's still the staffing issues.
Yeah.
And the registration issues and the interest issues, which is.
Well, I talked to Dan Waters. He was the operation of
Right.
Fraser and everything. He said we could use any of the gyms, but we have to make sure and pay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta have the people in place to cover the costs.
And check the schedules and, they're busy.
It used to be back in the day, you could go use the gym for free, and
Yes.
then, or the baseball diamonds, or the soccer field, and now everyone has to rent them. And so that's where the liaison with clubs that come and just need,
Just a space.
Space.
Yes,
are really, in reality, the new norm, right? Because that's what everyone
Pretty much.
has, All the cities are struggling to fill their programs. And, yeah, so, okay, so I'm gonna personally look into the Arts Academy and the gym, because that's right up my alley. Because if we could get a long-term connection or contract.
yeah, that would be great.
That's money well spent, right? You put 40 grand in,
And you
And we
can
get
use
a
that for-
5-year commitment, 10-year commitment, because that school's strong, so it's not going anywhere. Awesome. And then the only other question I had was, oh, and I agree that the DPW should at least do the initial at the signs. And so we'll find out, because that's, again, we're going to have a special meeting about capital. Well, we're going to vote to have a special meeting about capital improvements. I lost my other question. So those were just the questions I wanted to clarify so that I could report back. Oh, I know, and then the big bounce house, Don might have that contract, our city attorney, because he would have been the one. So I would presume, if there's 85 at the VFW, then when you add in the spaces along the fence, in the park, and then City Hall, we get to 400 with creative math. You know, because you get quite a few, if they park this way on the fence along
Yeah.
that first road, you
You
could
can get a
easily
lot.
get 100 cars there. So, and if it doesn't say,
Well, the biggest thing, it doesn't say anything. It just say 400 cars, parking spots. My thing is, I just don't know. Like with me, I've only been here for 3 months, so I don't know the total amount of cars that the park can actually handle around it. So.
that's interesting. That's where I would go to Don, because he reviews all the contracts, so he would know if that's a new ad, but I wouldn't freak out, because that's not gonna be a deal breaker.
we
Thank
can
you.
find
Do you guys have anything you
spots.
want to tell me? What'd you say?
So we can find parking
We
spots.
can find parking spots, yeah. Mr. Walsh, I'm sure, would happily donate to have it. Not to speak for him, but did you guys have any questions for council that I can
I,
take back?
I actually do. It was gonna be, kind of my commissioner with concern, but actually it's not a recreation thing, so it is more of a park thing, and maybe a capital improvement. Okay, so that corner, the CVS corner, I would like it out there for everybody, all on the same page. DPW, Mark Ragsdale, told me it belongs to the county. The mayor told me it belongs to Schatz. I've had other citizens tell me that it's city-owned. And when I talked to the mayor, he said if it's not the city's property, that he would talk to Schatz and possibly he could donate it or sell it cheap to the city, and then it could become city property. So then we could get the sign that's there made into, like all the other signs that we have in the city. And we could maybe get a hookup of water. No, he actually said we could get a hookup of water if it was city water, if it was city-owned. But as far as the mayor knew, it was Schatz property.
It would make sense that it's Schatz, but that
Okay.
the county would have an easement.
Okay, and then we
City
get
may
told
have
that
an
it's also
easement.
CVS's property, but it's
Oh.
the county in front of the sign. So I said to Mr. Ragsdale, well, then how did you guys get that sign there? Well, I wasn't here then.
I'll bet you soup to nuts, the planning commission required the sign when they approved the split and the build of the CVS.
So anyway, that was my, I would like to know who actually owns it and what do we need to get it to be the city so that we can get a sign put there so that we are uniform.
Yes.
And also so we can get some water turned on like they have at the Wedge, so that everybody's not carrying gallons of water all over buckets. You know, once you get things established, the rain will take care of it, but it's
Oh, that makes
hard to
sense.
make things. So maybe that's a parks question for
It's
you.
a question that
Okay.
we can get on the same page and find out.
Okay,
Well, you got me here.
okay. So
Anything
that was my only,
Yeah, that's what the first thing we noticed is that sign doesn't match all the other signs in
and it's the one that.
downtown Fraser.
And it's the one that faces here, so you're all looking at it. You must be having the same thought.
Yeah, we didn't put it in, is my understanding. So circling back to, if you guys remember, some of us are old enough, some aren't, that used to not look like that, and then Schatz developed it. And just seeing how the planning commission works and the ZBA, they probably requested, just like the brick wall for the oil change place, right, to beautify it a little bit. So they donated that sign on their property. Because we were not given the capacity to change it, or we would have done it when we did every other sign. So, but I'll find out for sure, because that's easy.
Yeah, because that's not what I was told by DPW, it's county property, so that's why they couldn't put a sign there.
Well, I know the city of Fraser doesn't own it. I shouldn't say I know
Right.
that. I presume that,
Yeah.
just based on, we've never maintained it. But that's easy to find out.
Right.
That's very easy to find out. It's just a matter of doing it, and I will do it.
Yeah, because that's just,
Nice to know.
yeah.
It would be nice to know, and then
It's just a
also.
conversation that comes up
When it isn't
all the
being
time.
maintained, then the city knows who to call when the
Correct.
weeds are high, as they
Sure.
sometimes get to be in that area, but
Yes.
no
Right.
longer thanks to originally the person who wants to remain anonymous, and then the garden club, so thank you for doing that.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, commission members with concerns, item number 11. We're just going to start over here with Commissioner Hunt.
Okay, so I have a quick question about the senior center. You have to be, what, 55 to use the facilities, correct? And when it was written for the grants or whatever that got it to be a senior center instead of a senior activity center, I was under the impression that after so many years, that was kind of like, it goes away and then it can be used for under 55? Is that not true? Wasn't somebody working?
Sarah was working on that. Sarah, we
Oh, okay,
talked about
'cause
it
I
with Sarah,
remember
and she was.
hearing about this, that something was happening to where there's a timeline, and when it hit a certain point, then anybody could use it for their programs.
So I believe that it was paid for with CDBG money,
Right?
which is federal money, which comes funneled through the county. And they will only let you spend that money on certain groups. And I say this from my personal experience in Richmond Township where I live. We have a senior center that we put $400,000 into. It's a Lil Center. We put in some handicap bathrooms. And we were told if we wanted to use that for anything else, we had to pay back that money to the county
Yes.
with interest.
Yes.
So if we want to just use it for the senior center, we're okay to do that.
Right.
But if we want to use it to run out for parties or.
Okay, because they used to rent it out for parties, okay.
Yes,
So they were
we
doing
were-
that wrong.
So
Yes.
I would think maybe it's the same.
Yes.
And that's why I thought
That's exactly
after
what happened.
so
For
many
years
years.
and years, we used it, and then someone raised a concern, and the issue was investigated, and unfortunately, years after it was used by both, it was identified that in fact, exactly the
Okay.
same situation, because money was used that is not local money, the restrictions on it prevent the ability for anyone under 55 to
Okay.
use it. And I think it's even like you can't even have like half and half. Like,
Right,
it's
right, because we
pretty-
couldn't even hold our Goodfellows meeting there because
Right.
some people are under 55.
We had to ask for permission to hold the elections.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how'd that work? Well, I'm old, okay. Right. I forgot about that.
Right,
I
I
forget that I'm over 55.
And
I had to ask the county if it was okay.
Yeah,
But I do know behind the scenes, some people are looking actively to this day to try to find a way to get around. So that is being looked at from many different people on many different
Okay.
angles. I just know the person who finally, I don't want to say fessed up, but told me that they were responsible for it, and I said, thank you. Everyone has a reason, and those are the rules. The rules are the rules,
right, right,
and
right.
so we're
I
following.
thought maybe there was a timeline. And after
I hope you're right.
20 years or 30 years, then it could be.
I hope you're right, but
Okay, all right, well, that was just something. And then the tennis courts, I always heard they were set up for pickleball, but they're not restriped for pickleball. That's just only tennis out there, correct?
It is only tennis, but that doesn't stop the pickleball player.
When
I know, but
we,
can
when we
get a
got
couple
them,
extra lines to
when we
make
were
it
supposed to get them
pickleball-friendly?
redone, that was the biggest thing that we talked about, is that we had lanes for pickleball. That was like a huge selling point for us to get them redone. So, yeah.
There's pickleball, because I just looked and it's only tennis.
No, it's there.
Has to be.
Rubbed off, it's been, what, 5 years now?
Yeah.
Well, it might be time to re-pickleball stripe it then. If we can get that done.
I'll definitely look into it.
Thank
See who does that. DPW will most likely
All right.
restripe it.
Yeah, because I didn't see the little kitchen area out there unless, you didn't, walk out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember.
Well, that's what I thought, and I was telling my husband, let's go play pickleball, and it's like, wait, this is just tennis.
to
So,
know.
okay. And then my last one was that I'm really looking forward to the jazz concert on June 15th at 7 o'clock. Thank
Bring
you.
a chair and a blanket
I'm
and
really looking
come and
forward to
enjoy
that.
it.
Who's playing? Who's playing at the Jazz?
The Fraser
Okay,
jazz band. 7 o'clock, June 15th.
I'll be there.
And there's going to be a donut truck?
Yes, they make all their
Donut
donuts.
factory.
They make
little donut
really
factory.
good donuts.
They do.
And
Okay,
that's all I have.
excellent. Commissioner Rice.
My only concern is, Martez, are you getting my emails?
I haven't got any email.
I've been emailing you since April 20th. I'm trying to get information on starting a fundraiser October 14th. I just been trying to get information.
I haven't gotten any email.
And I asked Commissioner Hunt about it, his email.
Right,
You gave it to me,
right.
emailed it again.
'Cause you
Never
get
got
mine.
anything.
You get mine? I haven't emailed you anything in a while, but it was mostly with the
Didn't
jazz.
see.
Last time I emailed you,
Yeah,
it was
because
probably,
he's in on the jazz band.
Yeah.
All four, us,
yeah.
the three of us.
Okay.
are.
Yeah, I
Four
saw
of
it. I
us and
saw it.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes, that's the one I have.
Last email I got from you is I won't be able to make it to the last meeting. And then before that, it's just you and the threads.
Yeah, I've been emailing you for the last, since April 20th.
Recreation at MICityofFraser.com.
Okay.
But I
14th?
have some other, October 14th,
Oh, October.
because I want to set up a fundraiser. I have sponsors ready and everything, so I was just trying to get information about the parks and everything, which park would be best for it. But I'll email you again. That's about it.
You want to tell a little bit about your event?
I want to get more
Information.
Okay,
information
all
and
right.
I'll present it.
Okay.
Well, we'll be waiting for it. Commissioner Cook.
I just want to piggyback off of Echo's idea. Is there any way that the city could buy back the senior center?
It's about it's like, yeah, I was close.
Is it a million?
Between 800 and a million.
Wasn't it like 1.2 or something? Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
I know we looked into it. I remember looking into it previously. And
Well, all the money that we have left over in our recreation fund, can't that go towards a down payment? And then the money that we don't spend next year can,
Since we haven't spent much money.
that's right.
Like a quarter of it now and a quarter of it.
It is.
Payment plan.
It is absolutely an option. Get 5 members of council to allocate the assets and it can be done.
I just feel bad for the kids in the city because there's just nothing for them. I mean, talking or listening to people talk about the parks and seeing what's happening in the parks and the kids that are just hanging out and the language that they're using and what they're talking about, they need something better to do than just hang out at the parks. There's nobody watching them. There's no cameras watching them. There's, nothing to protect our parks that we've put all this money into with the graffiti or whatever they're doing, messing them up, because they're just hanging at the parks. They need something, I don't know, even like a online gaming thing or something for them to do besides sitting at our parks, messing them up and talking the way I've heard them talk. So we need to come up with something for our teenage children in the city to do.
school's out in 8 days, you
Yep,
said?
school's out, and I think they might even get out earlier than we
Fraser
do.
Fraser gets up
Yeah, they get out
Friday.
Friday. I still have more days after that. But is there any talk about cameras going at any of the parks, or at least at McKinley Park?
Is there cameras at McKinley Park? Okay.
There's been many talks about it, I know that.
It's on the list to get quotes, but there's issues that go along with cameras and
Yeah.
expense and breakdown and
No, I get that. It's just we need something to,
what does it accomplish, does it actually stop it?
So,
So is it a good expense?
I know the police are busy, and I guess we don't have as many as we used to, but they must drive around the city? Do they?
Yeah, they're always
They
over there.
check in on those parks periodically? I mean, that might be work better than a camera.
Call them, they come.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that from firsthand experience. I know that a resident asked me to call, so I did, and they went to the park. I don't know why they didn't just call, but that's okay. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I know they got things to do.
But I will speak for them. Call. if anyone sees a problem, you don't have to engage, but call the police. That's why they're here. That's, they.
Well, no, what I was saying is before a problem even happens, if they're just like driving past.
Oh, they definitely do.
And a
They
kid
do
knows,
engagement, without a doubt.
yeah, if a kid knows that the cops are coming by every couple hours or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I see them in my neighborhood, I see them when I'm walking, I know they're around. And there's still 29 sworn officers. It's been that way for the past, since,
Didn't we just get a new one recently?
17, at least 2017, if not 2014. I think we went to 29. So, it's the same number. They're busy, but I can definitely
Yeah.
make that.
I mean, instead of waiting for a problem, you know, but like you said, if they're driving around, I'm just saying, instead of waiting for a problem, having them called,
Maybe
if
we
they're
need to
just driving
take it up
around
with,
anyway.
What is it, Captain Samantha, who is it, Samantha?
Director.
Yeah, Director Samantha. Maybe we need to like send her
Yeah.
a little email saying, hey, there's some things going on at some parks, maybe you might wanna step up a little patrol every once
Yeah,
in a
well,
while.
I'm, anything that is reported up through a lane gets reported to the department heads. So I'm confident that she's getting the reports about the concerns with, that Mr. Ragsdale would be getting about the vandalism that has to be remedied. So,
Anything else?
I think that's it today.
Okay. Commissioner Walker? I know you have something. Nothing? Who are you?
Tired.
Something brewing.
She does. And for me, I don't really have much. I've been trying to do more social media engagement. I mostly do it in the middle of the night when I'm at work and I have 5 minutes in between my charting. But I did get a couple of, I'm on a bunch of mom pages, and there was a mom that she travels around the entire state of Michigan looking for fun places to go with her kids. And I made suggestion to go to McKinley and Fort Fraser. So she said she has some videos highlighting those two parks coming up soon, so she can get national attention. So.
Oh, a good highlight.
Good highlights, yes. Not bad highlights, good highlights. It's mostly, I mean, it's like the amenities of the park.
Right.
I suggested McKinley, and I told her, you know, Fort Fraser does, it has a lot of traffic at Fort Fraser. A lot of people still love that park. Yes, it has.
Aren't they redoing it?
It has some stuff around here, I had no
Where
idea.
did you park?
We just rode our bikes up there,
Oh.
so, yeah. It's only a couple blocks away.
There's no parking at Boris.
I know.
No, there's a nice little piece of
Right.
land that you could turn into parking
Right.
over there. Hint, hint.
All right. But other than that, I don't have any concerns. I'm excited
Wait,
for
can I
the,
do one more concern?
yeah, of course.
Okay. I think, do you remember the lady's name who did the STEM projects during the summer at the parks? And she's done it before.
Rachel.
Where, is her name Rachel? Rachel, a pretty good turnout. So maybe we need to
To reach out.
reach out
Yeah.
to her.
We could do that. I would just need to find out who she is.
Once I remember her name, I just have to
Yeah,
look
it's-
at,
Augustus,
yeah,
is that-
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm happy, I'm excited for the jazz band. And then the parade, I can't wait for it to finally be here and be back in, like, I want it to be big and full swing, and I'm excited for it, so.
I have her name.
Okay.
Minnegus